What is going on, guys? Welcome back to another YouTube video. So this is going to be the 17 weeks out vlog, but we are currently approaching the 16 week out mark, as today is Friday the 12th of May. Tomorrow will mark exactly 16 weeks out, but just the way I've been doing these vlogs, I'm kind of the week gone. It's going to be like 17 weeks out. Yeah, you get what I'm trying to say. I started the first vlog and I named 23 weeks out because I was 23 weeks out at the time. So I just got to stick with this trend as we're moving along. So where are we currently sitting? This morning, I hit a new low of 104.5 kilos. So I'm around 4 kilos down on average from the start point of prep. So things are starting to move a little bit quicker now since we made those adjustments I ran over in the last video, which I'm quite pleased with. I think visually, I can notice it a lot even when I wake up first thing in the morning fasted. My vacuums are starting to get slightly better now as well. I think at this point in my last prep, I could almost like fully vacuum, and now I'm like nowhere near being able to fully vacuum, but we will stick with it. We will keep consistent and we'll get those vacuums nailed down. But even only being able to kind of like half a vacuum at the moment, I'm finding it's making a huge difference to how a lot of my check-in pictures are actually looking. And when I'm running through the rounds of posing, obviously it's just a lot easier to control the midsection. So if you are a competitor and you're not doing your vacuums, make sure you do them because they are very, very beneficial. So we have taken that cycle progression this week. Haven't really noticed much of a difference so far, but training is going pretty well. I'm not getting massive progressions, which is quite annoying. I thought I would this early on into prep, but I'm hoping that as the drugs kind of like kick in now over the next like maybe week or two, that we should start to see a little bit more progress. Sleep has actually been fantastic the last 2 nights. Well, not fantastic, but much better than it normally is, which is certainly a good sign, as that's something I struggle with. I did say to Kuba at the start of this prep, I reckon once I got down to like 103, 104, which I'm getting in around now, that things would start to pick up a lot, as I know that that's a weight that I normally feel pretty good at. And obviously this time around, being 103, 104, it's going to be a little bit leaner than the last time I was 103, 104, right? So next kind of trip I have to Ultraflex to see Cuba is going to be the Team MK meetup, which is in a month's time. At that stage, I'll be 12 weeks out, I believe. So I'll be kind of like halfway through prep. So definitely going to bring the camera along for that, get a little in-person check-in with Cuba, get his thoughts on how I'm looking, and, just try and, get his opinion on how we're going to kind of approach the remainder of prep. Things have been super smooth so far, super easy. I'm not getting hungry at all. Like even now, if Kuba was to give me a refeed, I genuinely would not be able to stomach it, I reckon. Like my appetite is just grand, even some days, not that I'm struggling to eat meals. The meals are going down, but like I'm not like looking at the clock waiting for my next meal or anything like that yet. So it's been very, very easy so far from that perspective. Routine is locked in now at the moment, getting up, doing my fasted walk, coming back, doing my vacuums before and after that walk, and everything's just kind of moving really smoothly. So yeah, not really sure what I'm going to do for the remainder of this video, but we will just wing it as always. So there's the little update on where we're at, guys, and I'll catch up with you in a little bit. What's up, guys? Welcome back. So we are in to train legs today. This is my kind of hamstring focused leg day, so SLDLs are going to be the main movements on the cards. I'm not sure whether I'm going to do a voiceover of the session yet, or whether I'll kind of talk in between the clips and kind of walk you through it. Sometimes when I go into the gym, I'm training legs and everything else, to be honest, I just like to just focus in on the session. But I've come to the gym early today specifically so that I could take a little bit more time to actually record the session and get it up by this evening, as today is Sunday and Sunday is upload day, and I'm trying to stay consistent here. So let's cross before this fucking tram takes off. So yeah, I will catch you in the gym, guys. Alright guys, welcome to today's leg session. So we start off with the adductor here. I believe I did 2 sets of 10 to 12 reps. Key cues here are you want to keep your chest up and your shoulders pinned back, and you want to have your pelvis tucked through, and you don't want to have it kind of arched and rounded as if you had butt wink on a squat. So here I'm trying to think about pausing in the stretch for a second and also pausing at the top in peak contraction here. Okay, so nice, slow, controlled movement, dragging the knees in. This movement is a drag. I don't want to see jerking. Don't want to see the hips come up off the seat. Just a nice, smooth drag from start to finish. So really, really like this prime adductor. Excellent, excellent piece of kit, and adductors can always be improved for the majority of people. Next up, we're moving on to the lying hamstring curl. So what you'll see me do here is kind of put my knees at the very edge of the pad and then lie down. So why do I do this? I want to line my knees up with the pivot point of the machine here. So when you are doing a hamstring curl, you know, the machine will move a certain way, and you want to make sure that you're as lined up as you possibly can be just to get the most out of your hamstring here. Key cues here, I'm thinking about pushing my hips into the pad as much as possible and dragging that weight up again. Obviously, when you get to the very, very top here, you will see a little bit of hip and the glutes come up, but we try to minimize that as much as possible and just drag here. On reflection, watching this set back, probably went a little bit too heavy here as I did try to take a progression, but we will reassess next session and just make sure that we do tidy this up a little bit. Okay, so SLDLs are up next. I've just done my warm-up sets now, working up to 190 kilos. So I haven't actually done this session, or well, I have done this session. I did this session 2 weeks ago, but it was a devolume session. And Kuba just pulled the SLDLs from that session. I only have one set of SLDLs. So today we're back with the SLDLs. It's the first time in a month I've actually done these because I have just 1 leg day a week, 2 rotations. So last time I hit this, I hit 190 for 7, I believe. So gonna attempt to do a little bit better than that today. Last rep there, I just pulled 180 for 1. Didn't feel amazing, but didn't feel the worst either. I think always on an SLDL, the first rep is always going to be the kind of slowest off the floor, and then you kind of get your rhythm with it. So based off how that felt, I think I should be able to hit the 190 relatively easy. But for how many reps, we won't know until you watch the next clip. So yeah. Come on then. So as you can see, that was a fairly abysmal 5 rep set there. I'm not gonna lie. So down 2 reps, haven't done it in a month though. But yeah, that I knew after that first rep on that one, I was like, fuck me, I'm not getting this for 8 reps. But you win some, you lose some. Just try and work it back up, probably scale back for next week, work it back up to this weight again. I imagine this is probably an exercise, the further I get into prep, will probably be pulled out anyway. But I love it, man. There's nothing like pulling heavy shit off the floor. So I'll try and keep it in for as long as I possibly can, even if there isn't massive progress on it. But yeah, I felt a little bit off there. I felt like I didn't really hinge the hips like I know I can. I feel like my hip movement backwards wasn't like as good as it could have been. And then as a result, my eccentrics on that last quarter portion were just a little bit too rushed. So it is what it is. We move on now to the Predator pendulum squat. So we've got the Predator pendulum here, which is behind you. I had worked up to 4 plates on this, but I really wasn't happy with the speed of my eccentrics. So scaled back to 3 plates and a 15 last week. Much happier with how that looked. Got 8 reps there, so just going to try and aim for 9 to 10 now. But quads are feeling a little bit better today. I think the knees are feeling a lot healthier than they normally do. I had to kind of like readjust my squatting pattern slightly as I was getting a lot of tendon pain, but now they're feeling pretty sweet today in comparison to how they normally feel. So that gives me confidence, as I feel like sometimes when I'm taking this set to failure, it's like almost the fucking pain in my tendons that stops me from grinding out that extra rep, rather than actually my quads going to failure, which is super fucking annoying when you kind of have like minor niggles or injuries like that. But hopefully this is a good set now, and yeah. Alright guys, back again with the voiceover. So I included my top set and back offset on this seated hamstring curl, just so that you could see that I didn't really set myself up properly in this machine here. You can see as I'm dragging my heels back that there's a lot of movement between my knee and my quad and that pad that's down below my knees. So in the next set here, you're going to kind of see me readjust that to make sure that the pad is fully down as much as possible. So if you are doing a seated hamstring curl, I would advise trying to do this to make sure you're as locked in as possible. Even if you have a training partner, get them to come over and literally push it down onto your legs as fucking hard as you possibly can, right? It will make a big difference, because once I do get this down and locked in here, you can see immediately when I do the first kind of 2 to 3 reps that it's much better and much smoother. Okay, so other cues here for this hamstring curl. Again, we want to drag back here, a little bit of a pause in the stretch at the top, nice smooth drag back, keep our ankles in dorsiflexion as well, which is something I should have mentioned in the last one. So make sure they're at a right angle and not pointed forwards, just so that we're not engaging our calves here. Next up, we're going to have the leg extension. So plate loaded prime leg extension, loaded in the lengthened range here. So I got 3 of those 25 kg caliber plates on the top and 1 in the middle, as this is the last exercise. So here again, want to drag that weight up. You'll notice here I'm kind of slightly pausing at the bottom and I'm making sure to really contract hard at the top. You'll also see here that I'm actually using wrist wraps to kind of strap myself into the handles here. I find this helps as this weight is pretty heavy and I like to keep my arse as glued down to the seat as I possibly can. So when I wrap myself up and pull myself in, this grip is just very handy, I think. So because, you know, it stops you from kind of raising your glutes up off the seat and you can just kind of focus on the movement. So again, love this prime leg extension. I get a lot out of it at the end of the session in comparison to just a normal standard leg extension. Last rep here is a little bit of a grinder. I don't think I got it. Nope. Next up, we've got the calf raise. Okay, so key cues on calf raises, right? The calves are very small muscle, a little bit finicky. You don't want to be doing like super heavy kind of half reps on these. We want full extension. So as I come back here, you notice I pause for 2 seconds in the fully stretched position. I push forward through the balls of my feet and I make sure that I hold that contraction for 2 seconds. Okay, if you are doing your calf raises properly, your calves should literally feel like they are filling up with battery acid at the end of the set. I have brought my calves up a lot, I believe, over the last off season, so these have helped a lot. And there we have it, guys. So that is the vlog wrapped up. As you can see here, I have just finished editing that and doing the voiceover, etc. So a little bit of a rushed vlog today, and I do apologize. I've just decided that consistency with these weekly uploads is a little bit more important than every video, you know, being an absolute banger. Not that my videos are bangers anyway, because they're pretty bang average, if that's what you want to call them. But the views on the last couple of videos have been pretty decent. You know, I've been getting 500 or 600 views a video and I only have like 630 subscribers. So, you know, I'm still at the Z list of the YouTube group, but I do appreciate anyone who has been following along the journey, who has been watching these vlogs. If you're watching this video and you haven't subscribed already, please make sure you do subscribe, as it helps the algorithm and all that jazz. You know, like the video, share it with your friends, etc. And as I always say, guys, we will catch you in the next one.